Welcome to the CloudHealth by VMware Navigation Overview for Azure. In this video, we are going to go over the navigation of the CloudHealth platform specific to Azure, as well as introduce some of its key functionality. CloudHealth lists the different cloud providers at the top of the screen. Let's click on Azure to get started. When you select the desired cloud provider, CloudHealth will display that cloud's main dashboard page. Right now, we are looking at the Azure dashboard. You can return to the Azure dashboard at any time by clicking on the Dashboard section of the navigation menu and selecting Dashboards. For additional tips and tricks on using this dashboard, head on over to the CloudHealth Academy and search for Azure Dashboard Overview to find our in-depth tutorial on the functions and capabilities of the Azure dashboard. The next part of the Dashboard section is the Activity Feed. The Activity Feed is a 24-hour log of any changes, additions, or deletions that have been made in your infrastructure. This log is updated up to every 15 minutes. The Activity Feed features three different icons. A blue circle with a lightning bolt indicates if anything has been updated or changed within the system. The red circle with the X is an alert letting you know of anything that has been terminated or deleted. The green circle with a plus sign, which is not currently shown, alerts you to when anything has been created or added to your infrastructure. To get more information about these alerts, you can click on the View Details tab. Here it will show you the exact time of the event and provides a link to get even more information about that event. Below the Activity Feed is the Notifications section. This section gives you information about CloudHealth policies that have been created. If you are unfamiliar with what a policy is, it is a condition-based alert which allows you to set up a warning message or an action. As policies can be multi-cloud, the Notifications section shows information about all policies in your organization's CloudHealth platform, not just the policies specific to your Azure infrastructure. The Notifications page is divided into three sections: Policies, Actions, and System. We'll start with the first tab, the Policies section. Here is where you can get information about the policies that have been evaluated as true, which just means that the conditions for that policy have been met. You can see the policy name, a summary of the policy, and when it was recorded. If you want more information, you can click on the eye icon. When you set up a policy, there is usually an action that is associated with said policy. Toggling over to the second tab brings you to the Actions section, which provides a listing of actions taken when a policy is evaluated as true. You'll notice that most of these actions are email notifications. Other automated actions can be triggered by a policy, such as deleting or modifying an asset. Each line in the Actions section will show you the requested action, the date the action was created, and the status of the action. The third tab is the System section. This is where you can get CloudHealth specific notifications. You can see any billing cycle completion messages, policy evaluations, and if you have the data aggregator, it will give you aggregator alerts. The last part of the dashboard section is Pulse Reports. Pulse Reports are executive summary reports, and since they cover a lot of different areas on the platform, they are each talked about in depth in a separate video. We're going to move on with the rest of the navigation menu. Below the Dashboard section is Multi-Cloud. Expanding this reveals the Multi-Cloud Cost History report. You can use this report for high-level, pretty picture reporting of the cost history data aggregated from across each of the cloud providers you have integrated with CloudHealth. It will even include cost history from your own on-premise data center. You can adjust the dimensions and measures for the Multi-Cloud Cost History report just like you can with the other CloudHealth reports, which brings us to our next section. The next part of the navigation menu is the Reports section. Under Reports is where you'll access your saved reports, manage any subscriptions, and where you'll build and edit Flex reports. Let's take a quick look at Flex reports. With Flex reports, you can select any field and as many dimensions as you want from your Azure Enterprise Agreement, as well as CloudHealth fields such as perspectives and organizational unit. For example, I could see a breakout of costs by subscription name, resource group, and by CloudHealth organization. Let's head back to the main Reports section in the navigation menu. Below Flex Reports, you'll see a list of reports on various topics, which are categorized by focus area, including cost reports, usage reports, performance reports, and more. If you expand any one of these, you can see a whole list of reports that fall under each category. I'm going to select the Cost History report. This report is the same report that you see on the Azure dashboard, but with two major differences. The first difference is, at the top of the screen, you'll see some dimensions and measures that allow you to break down the information that you're looking at and view it in different ways. We'll talk more about this in just a moment. The second difference, if you scroll to the bottom of the screen, you'll see a tabular view of the data. Here is where you can see the information that is graphically represented in the chart above, broken down numerically. Heading back to the top of the page, let's take a look at the dimensions and measures. Filters allow you to look at specific areas of focus. For instance, if I wanted to look at a specific subscription, I could click on the plus sign next to subscription, and then select a subscription, and the report will adjust to show me just the costs associated with that particular subscription. You'll notice that some of these filters have an uppercase letter P next to them. The P stands for Perspectives. Perspectives play a huge role in the CloudHealth platform, as they offer you different ways to break down your cloud information by splitting up your assets, resources, and workloads into categorical views. For example, if you work in finance, you might be interested in viewing data related to a specific cost center. If you're an engineer, you might be interested in looking at a specific environment, such as production or development. Perspectives allow you to create report views that pinpoint the exact information you're looking for. Perspectives, essentially, act as different lenses through which you can view the information about your infrastructure. Next to the Filters tab, you'll see that you can adjust the interval, and it gives you monthly, daily, or weekly options. You can change variables for the X or Y axes. You can also change the category. Here there are some pre-built categories, but you also have the perspectives you configured available to view once again. So if I click on the environment perspective, for example, it will change the view of the report to look at all of the costs separated by the different environments. I could also separate out the costs by either owner or by project just by choosing that perspective. By using the Chart Type dropdown, you can choose between different chart types. So if you wanted to view the information as a line graph instead of a bar graph, you could do so here. Finally, the Options dropdown is where you'll go if you want to do any forecasting. If you've spent time and energy configuring your report to meet your specific needs, you have the ability to save the report, so you don't have to reconfigure it every time you access it. In the top right-hand corner of the screen, there is the Actions dropdown. To save the report, click on Actions and select Save As. There you can give your customized report a name, a description, a location, and designate whether you would like it to be a public report that can be viewed by everyone or a private report. Once you save the report, it will appear back in the navigation menu under Saved Reports, and that is also where you'll go to manage your reports. You can subscribe to a report in order to have the report run and emailed to you at regular intervals. You do have to save the report first in order to subscribe to it. When setting up a new subscription, you can choose if you want an email update sent to you every day, every week, or every month. If you select weekly, you can choose which day or which days of the week you want the report sent to you. You also have the option to have just the visual report emailed to you, or the visualization and the data sent to you. You can configure it to have the email sent to yourself, you can choose from a list of individuals in your organization, or you can manually add in email addresses of individuals who you want to receive this report. You can also select the time you'd like the report sent out. Once you've configured your subscription and saved it, it will appear over here. And that's it for the Reports section. The next section is the Assets menu. Here is where you can see any Azure assets with drill-down capabilities, as well as any third-party management systems you've integrated with, such as Wavefront, for example, which you can see here on my screen. The next section of the navigation menu is the Recommendations section. This area provides you with recommendations for purchasing reservations, right-sizing virtual machines, and optimizing your security settings. Under Reservations is where you'll find the Virtual Machine RI Optimizer. This can be used to help you determine your reservation needs, help you build out quotes, and help determine your CapEx budget for any upfront reservation purchases. Below Reservations is right-sizing. CloudHealth constantly looks at your Azure assets and usage to identify opportunities for you to right-size your virtual machines and your SQL databases in order to lower your cloud spend. There are two right-sizing options for Azure virtual machines: Virtual Machine Prospective Right-Sizing and Virtual Machine Right-Sizing. Let's take a look at Virtual Machine Right-Sizing first. The first section is where you can see the battery meters and scores. It gives you a visual representation of the utilization or underutilization of your virtual machines. Then, if you scroll over to the right, based on the average performance of the metrics that we collect, we make a recommendation to downgrade or terminate an instance, which will help optimize your VM costs. You'll notice that there's the recommendation over here, and there's also a column for recommendation savings. These recommendation savings are the same recommendation savings you'll see in the Health Check Pulse report. You can also take action on the resource that is being evaluated right here. Virtual Machine Prospective Right-Sizing groups the average scores of your VMs by perspectives that you have defined in your CloudHealth platform. Essentially, this report is the Virtual Machine Right-Sizing report filtered by your perspectives. The SQL Database Right-Sizing reports provide insights on how well your SQL databases are being utilized in terms of the workloads you are running on them, how DTU and storage contribute to database utilization. It also identifies opportunities for right-sizing databases, thereby saving costs and optimizing your workloads. The last part of the recommendations area is the Security Recommendations page, which lists out potential security issues. These security recommendations are based on the CIS Azure Foundation's benchmark. You can click on each row to expand and see additional details and instructions on how to remedy the issue. The final section of the navigation menu is Setup. This is where you'll set up your accounts, perspectives, policies, budgets, any users or roles that you have, flex orgs, and other items. When you first start using the platform, you will spend a lot of time here, making sure that you've set things up the way that you need them to be. At the very top of the screen on the right-hand side, you'll see two icons next to your login profile. The bell icon shows any notifications in the system that haven't been read. If there are any app updates, you can click here to find out more information about those updates. The question mark provides links to our Help Center and support. Under the Help Center, you'll see a link to CloudHealth Academy, where more of these training videos are located. You'll also see links to our API guide, terms of use, and our privacy policy. Under Support, you can submit a support ticket and also view any open tickets. Finally, clicking on your credentials is where you'll sign out of the platform. We've reached the end of the platform navigation overview for Azure and CloudHealth. Thank you for joining us.